This is a topic you get a lot of different opinions on. This concept, this entity is seen differently by a lot of different people. There's general agreement from the human race about what this is. Its nature, its characteristics, its functions. But this one, There's a segment of the population that says, I don't believe there is such a thing as God. I don't think that God exists. Dude, if God is alive, show me where he lives. There's another group that says, yeah, I think there's like a supreme being or a creator or a life force, but it's not like a person, like it can't have thoughts and feelings. And then there are some people who think,
God hates you.
God hates you.
God hates you.
God hates you.
okay, well, thanks for your opinion, but there's something that confuses me about that. Let's take a look at anger for a minute. In most situations, anger is considered a failing on the part of the person who succumbed to it. For example, you never hear anybody say, oh dude, I totally lost my temper yesterday, it was the bomb. No, it's, oh, I lost my temper yesterday and I totally... But while getting angry can be considered a breakdown in most situations, we generally consider it more and more of a failing in direct proportion to how helpless the person is we're getting mad at compared to ourselves. It's one thing to snap at a coworker when you're both working on a high-stakes project with an approaching deadline. It's not something to be proud of, but with an apology it will probably work itself out. But yelling at the intern on their second day because they didn't know how to do something is going to prompt a lot more head shaking at the water cooler and probably a bigger self-face palm after you've cooled down. Because the intern is that much more helpless. They've only been at that job a tiny fraction of the time that you have. This is why nobody ever feels like a hero for getting angry at their kids. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. We're all human and just trying our best, and sometimes kids are really annoying. But we look back on it as a moment of weakness. We're never like, oh yeah, man, I put them in their place. We look at it as a failing because they're so much more helpless than we are. So anger equals shamefulness multiplied by the target's helplessness compared to us. So if we're 5 times more powerful than the person we're getting mad at, it's just that much more embarrassing that we got mad at them. So while there's a diversity of opinions around the idea of God, you don't really get people who are arguing for the existence of God arguing for the existence of a finite God. As in, God is not just powerful, God is infinitely powerful and infinitely knowledgeable and has existed for an eternity of time. I think you see where this is going. God is infinitely more powerful than us. As in, the power ratio between a billionaire 7'2" president of the United States and a newborn infant in the poorest area of the poorest country is nothing compared to the ratio between the most powerful of us and God. So for God to get angry at us or hate us represents not just a weakness on God's part, but a colossal, staggering, dysfunctional weakness. Imagine a full-grown human being saying, man, I hate that baby. Do the math, homie. So to the people who are saying that God hates people, you are trying to sell me the idea that God is less emotionally evolved than we are. And I'm not buying it. Of course, I don't know you personally, and I can't know what's going on for you internally, what your motivations are and your intentions, and they might be perfectly good and you might think that you're doing what's right. But this?
God is sick of you. God is frustrated with you. Personally, objectively, hates some of you.
This has got to stop. Because people take you seriously. They believe that their cosmic parent, their creator, the reason that they exist, thinks that they suck. We already get told enough that we're not good enough by our own heads. Don't bring God into the mix, because saying that God can hate us is crazy.